Right, phenomenal morning, guys. Phenomenal morning. This is your edition, special edition, Breakfast with the Brand. I am your host, Sean Wright East. And yes, I know it's Wednesday, right? We always do this on Saturday. We're always live at 8 a.m. But listen, I'm here on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, LinkedIn twice. Actually, we have voice as well going on. Phenomenal morning, ladies. YouTube, Twitter, everybody. And you might ask yourself, why? Why? What's the purpose, Sean? What's the purpose? Well, if you remember when COVID took place, we went live to help people build their business. And today is no different, right? Today is no different. It's a little bit of a different situation, but we're under the same circumstances. People are still trying to leverage their leadership, their education, experience, and expertise and build a phenomenal business out of it, right? So, where are you at? We got some people on Facebook writing in. Phenomenal morning, guys. Phenomenal morning again. We are going to help you to build your business. So one of the most common questions that I get is, Sean, where do I start? Where do I start to build the brand? Where do I start to build the business? What does that really look like? So let me help you guys out real quick. You've got the education. You've got the education. You've got the experience. You've got the expertise. Hardly anyone that I have ever come into contact with absolutely was starting from scratch. They say, Sean, I'm starting from scratch. I don't know where to begin. I don't know where to start. And I say to myself, well, these are mostly individuals, adults, 30 and change, 10 years in their vertical, maybe even 20 years in their vertical, 20 years in a given occupation and telling me they're starting from scratch and they don't know where to go. And I say, no, not at all. If you have a degree, if you have an education, and even if you don't, but you've been in a specific vertical, somebody's paying you, right? Somebody's been paying you for 10 years. You have a job, you have an occupation, someone sees your value. And let me tell you something, guys. When you take this value, what we call D to C, which is direct to consumer, you remove the middleman. And you just take your skills, you take your expertise, you take your experience direct to consumer, the end user, you become much more valuable in the marketplace and you're able to do what we call add a zero. Add a zero. So where did that concept come from? What do I really mean by adding a zero? Listen, guys, my background is industrial and organizational psychology. My background is in HR. Right. So one thing I want you to understand, like, I'm not giving you anything that's hyperbole. I'm not giving you anything that's hypothesis or my opinion. I have 3 master's degrees. One just happens to be in industrial and organizational psychology. So I learned very early on that to hire someone, you want to make generally 8 to 10 times their seat and their salary, which means if you're paying them 30K a year, you want to make at least 300K to justify their existence. So what does that tell me? If you're at $30 or $40,000 within your organization, the organization pulls in $300,000 to $400,000 off of your value, and they pay you the remainder after removing 90%. They pay you about 10%. So just think about that. I know it's early in the morning, everybody's going to work, but I want you to think that while you're going to work, your salary is earning the organization a multiple of 10, 8 to 10. However, when you extract yourself from the organization, or even just give them the ability to know that you know, which means reposition yourself. When you reposition yourself within an organization, they will literally double, sometimes triple your annual salary. And if they don't, then you can just go D to C, go direct to consumer. Listen, I'm from New York and I used to be a counselor, and I was helping people to build their morale, build their leadership skills, build their confidence level. I was speaking, I was doing staff development, workforce development. I do the same things now. The only difference is where I used to make what, 50, 70, 80, 90K a year. We've added a zero to the back of it. As a matter of fact, we've added multiple zeros to the back of it. So that's where you start. When people tell me I'm starting from scratch, I don't really know what to do, Sean, I don't really know where to start out, I always say, what have people paid you for in the past? And concentrate your focus there. Don't try to do something absolutely new that you know absolutely nothing about. Sometimes people come to me and they say, Sean, I've got 20 years in this vertical. People have been paying me. My salary is $75K, but I want to go this way. And I want to try something. I want to learn something new that I've never done before. And I say, hold on, pump the brakes for a moment. Let's look deeper into this. If people are paying you and you've got the skill set and you've got the mindset and you've got the experience, education, and expertise, let's lean in there. Let's stay right there. People, like, I've helped people go from HR to HR consultants, from people who did workforce development to executive coaching, people who were staff sergeants in the military to financial organizational consultants that absolutely crush it and are able to add zeros to their confidence, their leadership, and their profit base. Guys, there's absolutely no barrier, no limits, and no roof to what you can accomplish and what you can do in your business when you brand you and not what you do. That brings me to the first intro, guys. We'll be right back. Let's grow. It's very important that you know yourself to the highest degree possible, because it's through knowing ourselves that we're able to know other people. You are the most important person in the room, and the better that you know yourself, the better that you're able to communicate to others. So you're not only playing the game knowing who you are, but you're also playing the game knowing who everyone else is, so that you're not playing blind.
He's extremely engaging with people. He has a fantastic smile, and he's just very high energy person.
This is called leadership development. So we have to be independently knowledgeable and considerate to know who we are, so we can more effectively know who other people are. As the leader, it's your responsibility to allocate resources in the right places. If you don't know how to communicate effectively, you're losing the battle. I said Sean Rais. I'm proud. I said Sean Rais. Leadership is not the brand they made for us.
Listen, he brought fire, heat. He didn't hold back.
20 years down the line, what I could sell, why not serve first? Service over salary. Branding like a leader closes the gap for people who want branding. Speaking like a leader closes the gap for people who are nervous about speaking. If Steve Jobs would have speculated, we wouldn't have Apple.
He changed lives. He helped people open up their business and start their business.
We are the brand. Some people say, Sean, should I quit my job? Mentally, yes.
As a speaker too, to be able to learn from him and watch him and you know, game respects game. And I want to have that much game someday.
The right client, pay $500,000 for what you do. You have to be bold in your beliefs.
He has been an amazing asset to this event and a pleasure to work with. Very captivating, collaborative, worked very well with the audience.
I want to help you. Put a 0 behind your number, right?
The session was great. How he is online, virtually, he is even more phenomenal in person.
Be the face of change that you want to see. Stop asking questions and start giving demands.
The entire team has just been absolutely incredible. They are a joy to work with. They go above and beyond.
Give yourself a round of applause. Yes, yes, yes. All right, guys. So we're back. Listen, what I want you to understand first and foremost is that you already are the person. You already are the person. Like, a lot of people are working with other people and trying to get validation, trying to get celebrated, trying to get, you know, permission to exist in their phenomenality, permission to exist in their skin, permission to raise their prices. Listen, guys, you don't need any of those things. The fact that you are here, the fact that you have gotten through what you've already gotten through, the fact that you made it this far is your validation. That is your validation. That is your certification. The next thing that you need to do is you need to take your value to the people. You need to actually help someone. right? So people say all the time, Sean, how do I monetize? How do I make money? Let me help you understand something. Money, you don't need to make money. The money's already made, right? Let me just help you understand that. Like, they print money. Money is already made. You don't need to make money. That's the wrong mindset. The right mindset is create value, create wealth. How do I create opportunity? Making money is already made. They make so much money, they burn it. Like, they make so much money consistently that they burn it. It goes out of circulation. It's no longer useful. It loses value if they keep it on the market. So they actually they put it together and they burn it every single day. There are people being paid in a yearly salary only to put money into a furnace. So while people are using the wrong mindset to how do I make money, there's people who have a serious job and get paid to burn money every single day. So while you're trying to make money, they're burning money and they're making money. They're creating value and getting wealth while burning what you're trying to make. That's how much of it there is. So we got the wrong mindset about making money. The goal is to create value, create wealth. How can you get into the circulation? How can you get into the deposit of value and the outtake? I tell people all the time, put people over profit, put meaningfulness over money, put principle over, profits, and put value over valuation. When you look at it from this perspective, you create opportunities instead of obstacles, because you're dealing with reality for what it really is. There is so much money going on that people are overpaid for under-delivering. Overpaid for under-delivering. So what I'm doing right now is an act of service. What I'm doing at this very moment is an act of value creation. But it's the same way as when you go to the supermarket and you see someone sitting there and they've got little toothpicks with little bite-sized hors d'oeuvres and samples for you. People say, Sean, why aren't people buying? Why aren't people using my services? Why am I unable to monetize? And I ask them a question. Who are you serving? And they say, no, as soon as someone pays for my stuff, that's when I'll begin to service delivery. And I say, well, how are people going to find out about you? Do you have an email list? No. Do you have a full CRM? No. Do you have a sales pipeline? No. Well, how do you begin to create these things? You begin to create these things by helping people, touching people, introducing yourself to people. So right now, this morning, I'm introducing myself to you. If you don't know me, that's my fault, and I apologize for it. And you will begin to know much more about me now. However, if you Google me, Sean Rais, you'll find out that a lot of people do know me. And they know me from creating massive value in the marketplace within my vertical. However, if you are one of those people who have not crossed my path and you don't know who I am, I take full responsibility for it. And I'm going to change that today. I'm going to change that today, and I'm going to change it tomorrow and the next day and the day after that. We've written 3 books so far. We've added massive value to many an entrepreneur, many a business owner, many a CEO. And I've done a lot of what I've done for free. Go to YouTube and see our litany and our library. We give free. We monetize free. And I know that's a new concept that many people might not have heard, and they don't understand it. They just want people to pay for stuff. But listen, nobody pays until you deliver. Think about this. You order something, you want something of value, somebody brings it to your door, then they get paid. You go to a restaurant, somebody delivers your food, you sit down, you eat, you enjoy it, then they get paid. There is a delivery model. There is a service model that takes place before you get compensated, and it's called value delivered. If you do not deliver value, if you're too scared to speak, if you're too unconfident to create value and create opportunities and solve problems, then no one's going to know that you exist. If you're not promoting, if you're not marketing, if you don't exist in the marketplace, if you don't have a website. Listen, guys, people tell me, they ask me all the time, Sean, should I get a business card? And I say, I've never used one. When I had business cards, when I used to order business cards, they didn't work, honestly. Like, it went into the garbage receptacle. Because people don't remember you because of a business card. They remember you because you exchange value and you create massive value in the marketplace. You don't need to be remembered through a business card if you create unforgettable experiences. You want to think, how can I create unforgettable experiences? So this morning, if you're on your way to work, I wanted to tap in and I just wanted to connect with you and let you know that you are the person. You have a gift. Your gift is highly valuable in the marketplace. No one has ever found themselves 25 and unemployable unless they chose to. Just think about it. Every single person on this planet could get a job if they so chose. And if that's the case, then for the same token, everybody on this planet could open a business, could write a book, could be a speaker, could be a coach, could be a consultant. I tell my clients all the time, I say, listen, your confidence might be low, but if you're a 5, you can teach a 4. Don't worry about where you come in. Don't worry about where you start. I'm in college now, still 2 doctorates, 3 master's degrees, haven't stopped yet. But before I had 1 master's degree, I was a coach. And I coached people who did not know as much as I did not have the confidence that I did not have the positioning that I did. So again, guys, when I was a 4, I taught a 3. When I became a 5, I was able to coach a 4. When I became a 6, I was able to coach 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There's always going to be somebody who needs your assistance. The only question is, are you going to be a go-giver? Everybody says, I want to be a go-getter. I'm a go-get it. I'm going to go crush it. And I'm a grind and I'm going to get the value and get the money. But listen, you can't force a circle into a square. You can't force a circle into a square, and you can't force people to do business with you. What you want to do, and this goes within an organization or outside of the organization. If you're going to work today, overwhelm with value. Overwhelm with value. You want to raise, you want your organization to add a 0 to your value, overwhelm them with value. Brand you. Over deliver, over serve. So I always say, and we're going to go to a break in 1 second, but I always say serve, 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 and you'll get what you deserve. Let's grow. The reason why I did this and what I do is help leaders to become brands and brand themselves. You train people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. I teach authenticity marketing. If people can take advantage of you, they will in your personal or professional existence.
My biggest takeaway just from day one is you are the brand. I would recommend it to anybody that's really looking to build a personal brand.
Just the brand in general has changed my life. I've grown so much since I've been a part of this.
I see myself in what he does, and I believe in it just as much as I believe in myself.
Business is like a game of chess. It's not checkers. If you don't know how to lead with a personal brand, then you're losing the battle.
Everything about Sean's talk was fantastic. I mean, I got so much from it.
So he was really bringing fire and passion and just love and spirit to let everybody else know how do you become a leader amongst the leaders.
You hold the key in your hand. There is more power in this phone than there was that took the first man to the moon.
His energy, his dynamic information, gave a really great presentation.
I didn't ask for any money. I didn't have an offer. I had a heart to help people and meet them where they were at and find their need and fulfill it.
Sean is the bomb.
All right. So let's get back to it. So phenomenal morning, Coach B. I see you. And Mary, you're very welcome. Mary on LinkedIn. We have a couple people on Facebook that I can't identify. We have Bridget Scarborough, I believe, on LinkedIn. Sammy Thompson on LinkedIn as well. Guys, listen, I'm just going live this morning to help you understand that you are the person. You have the value. The world is waiting for you to find your voice. Find your voice. And I see you as well, Professor Sylvester, right? You guys are the person. I was always the person, but I didn't see it. Why didn't I see it? Let's talk about some challenges. Why didn't I see it? Number one, it's so funny because that which makes me different is why I thought I couldn't be successful. That which makes me different and makes me unique is why I thought I couldn't be successful. Number one, I'm from Harlem, New York, right? So I got a little a twang in my voice. Like I'm from an urban setting. But that makes me unique. It makes me different. It's one of my differentiating factors. So what you're scared of and what you think people will not do business with you as a reason and use as a reason not to do business with you is exactly why they will. Exactly why people will gravitate to you and say, hey, there's something different about her. There's something different about him. I want to know more. Okay, so the urban setting. Number two, I grew up in an impoverished setting. There was not a lot of opportunity or money or high-level education to go around. Mother and father didn't graduate from college. They didn't have, $60K. I don't think they did $60K between the both of them. But there was always a roof over our head and always food in the refrigerator. But this is the thing, right? They didn't have the high level of education or influence. And because they didn't, I said to myself, how am I going to be something that I can't see? So I had to look outside of my present circumstances to find the example. Sometimes you have to go outside of your present circumstances or your environment to find the example. It took me a long time, a lot of headaches, a lot of challenges to find the right examples of success that I could emulate and relate to. So you want to find mentors, you want to find coaches, you want to find people. When I grew up, there was like our coaches, I grew up in the late 80s, right? So the coaches and the people on the corner were not the most positive examples or role models. They weren't the best mentors, right? So I still followed them because that's what you do. You follow the elders. And I made a lot of bad decisions and suffered a lot of consequences. But at a point in my life, there became a point in my life where I wanted different circumstances. I wanted a different outcome. I wasn't concerned with income. Make a note of this. There was a point in my life where I was no longer focused on income, and I became focused on outcomes. And I thought about, what do I want out of my life? Who do I want to be? Who do I want to be remembered as? How do I want to add value? And I had to look outside of my present circumstances and my present situations and my present environment to find the people that do exist that provide a phenomenal professional example. And I literally had to go back and do something that I had left. And a lot of us have those things, like we have those unread books, right? We start books, but we don't finish them. We have routines that we started. We have diet plans that we started. We have New Year's resolutions that we started and lasted a week. When I was younger, I had started college, but I didn't stay. I had to go back to school. I had to pick up something that I had put down. I had to finish the book. When I started finishing reading books, I turned around and gained so much information that I had to write the book. Guys, listen, I don't think you understand. Everybody listening to this right now has 10 books inside of them. I am on my 4th. I'm actually on my 5th. We have 2 that are done, ready for release, and we've released and published 3. Everybody listening to this has, and everybody listening to this later, guys, watch this. If you're hearing this later, #replay. #replay. Share this out too. Share this out. It's a selfless act. What I'm giving you right now is a sacrifice of my time. So it's of no negative impact to you to simply share this out to someone else. So share this out because somebody needs to hear what I'm about to say. Everybody listening to the sound of my voice has 10 books trapped inside of them. 10 books trapped, and each one is a bestseller. Each one is a bestseller. The problem is we have a lack of confidence. The problem is we look for other people to believe in us as opposed to believing in ourselves. We're looking for confirmation and validation from we're looking for validation and certification from areas, from people, places, and things that don't want the best for us anyway. See, I come from a place where society didn't look pleasantly upon me, right? So I didn't see success as being a story for me because I didn't see it in my household. The only time I saw success in my household was when I turned on the TV and I saw other people enjoying it. Now, we probably share a similar background where stories of phenomenal success, 6-figure, 7-figure success, business ownership success, authorship, business, like owning a string and stores and businesses and enjoying private jets and beautiful luxury cars and phenomenal vacations. That's not our story. However, who says it can't be? Who says it can be? Why? Because we have a job now? Because we made some bad decisions? Because our life might temporarily look like an amalgamation of consequences from those bad decisions? Listen, and please understand me from somebody who's evidence-based. Nothing I'm saying to you is an opinion. Nothing I'm saying to you is an opinion. Everything I say to you is evidence-based. I was driving down the wrong path. I took a wrong turn. In my adolescence, I did, like I said, my coaches and consultants were not the best of mentors. So I made some bad decisions and started driving down the wrong path. But there was a time when I started looking around me, I started looking out the car and I was like, I'm not feeling this anymore. I'm tired of this. I'm still young, but I'm a little bit more mature. I'm like, I don't enjoy this anymore. I don't enjoy the night life, the street life, the club life. I said, there's got to be something more. And what I did, and this is what you can do at any point in your life if you so choose, I chose to make a U-turn. I chose to make a U-turn. Now, a lot of us say, well, I'm already 30, Sean. Okay, great. I am what they call a late adult education entrant. Which means I didn't graduate from college the first time around. I didn't graduate from college the second time around. I graduated from college the third time around, and I'm still there now. However, my circumstances have changed dramatically. My circumstances have changed dramatically. I was only published when I did something wrong, guys. I want you to understand me. I was only published when I did something wrong. Now I'm a 3-time self-published author with 2 books in the kitty. We can make a U-turn. You can make a U-turn. And when you do, when negativity happens to you, when you're born in negativity, I'll say even captivity, when you're born into the captivity of negativity, situations take place that you're not in control of, you're not responsible for. There's one thing I say in my first book, The 7 Prerequisites to Success. What I say is that we don't get to choose who our parents were, but we get to choose who our children's parents will be. You understand? I wasn't born into the best of situations, but I chose to take it upon myself that my children would see a different example. A different example of adulthood, a different example of possibility, a different man, substance, sobriety, belief, confidence. I took a U-turn, guys, and you can take a U-turn. I don't care what you're making. You could be making $20,000 a year and only be able to get a part-time job. If you make a U-turn and you begin to position yourself differently, you begin to look at yourself differently, you begin to train people how to treat you based on how they meet you because of how you treat yourself, You can add a zero to that 20 and be making $200,000 a year. 25, 2005, you can literally make $2,500 a week. There was a one time when I did not believe it to be possible. There was one time that I did not believe it to be possible. I was like, 10K a month. That's $6,000. That's 6 figures a year. If I only can make that, if I only can make that, and we've seen multiple 6-figure months, some 6-figure weeks, some 6-figure days. Why? Because I made a U-turn and I began to believe that what was impossible was possible. I began to believe that what was formerly impossible was possible. I began to see myself as a value creator. I began to see myself as a wealth creator and see that I had the ability to create value. The same way that I was going down the wrong path and used to take value is the same way that I could turn around and create value if I so chose. If I so chose, and for you guys that can't see me, I'm pointing at my mind right now. I'm pointing at my head right now. If I made the different decision, then I could create a different outcome. Guys, I promise you this. Listen, guys, I'm going to just say it. You're playing small. I'm going to just say it because I know it. Right now, you're playing small. You can add a zero to your play right now. If you're in an organization, don't think of it as a 9-to-5. Think of it as the key to your future. Think of it as the key to possibility. There's someone in your organization who knows someone who knows someone. LinkedIn is a phenomenal tool. LinkedIn is a phenomenal tool. And I remember when they began to start talking about the circles of influence and how many introductions you were away from someone. You should think about what I just said. There's someone who knows someone who knows someone that knows you. And all you need to do is brand you, play your cards right, make the introduction, position yourself differently, assert yourself differently, communicate more confidently. And they will introduce you to the person that you need to be introduced to, who will introduce you to the person you need to be introduced to, who will introduce you to the person that you really need to be introduced to. It's all on you. It's all on you, how you position yourself, how you assert yourself. Have you ever had an idea and said, I should do X, but you didn't do it because you were unconfident or you didn't believe in it or you didn't think no one would support it? But then you turn around and someone else does it and you're sitting back with a bitter taste in your mouth like, wow, I had that idea. I had that idea, but I didn't move forward on it. How many opportunities do we have to let pass? If you're watching this right now, you're probably the person that the people in your sphere of influence come to for advice. You're probably the person that people look up to and come to for advice. You know you can charge for that, right? You know, with another understanding, they call that professional services. And it's a lucrative executive offer. When I say executive, I mean highly paid, highly compensated. It is a competency. But the problem is that our confidence doesn't match our confidence. Or let me say it this way. Our confidence doesn't match our competence. We have the master's degrees. We have the bachelor's degrees. We have the 20 years inside the vertical, but we still don't have the voice, right? We've been in the organization, but we don't have the positioning. We don't feel ourselves the way other people perceive us. I guarantee you that you have more power than you know. And this is something too. I don't want you to think that you have to scream, because some people look at the personal and professional development industry and they look at some of the examples and they're like, yeah, but I'm not loud, Sean. I can't do that. I can't beat on my chest and I can't scream and rant and rave and, stomp across stage and scream at the top of my lungs. You don't have to. There is a position for you. There is a client population for you. There is a tribe for you. There is a tribe. So every tribe has their own vibe, guys. You don't have to do what you see on IG. You don't have to do what I'm doing right now. For those of you who can't see me on LinkedIn Voice, I have a suit on. I have a suit on, white shirt, red tie. That's what that's my brand. That's what I'm known for. White shirt, red tie. But you don't have to wear that. You don't have to dress how I dress. You don't have to look how I look. Your background can be 100% differently. You don't have to have an education either. What you do have to have is passion. You have to have a passion for what you do. What you do have to have is you have to have commitment. What you do have to have is you have to have a love for someone. So one of the keys that I say, and I'm going to say this before we go to our last and final break, is you want to turn your why into a who. You want to turn your why into a who. So when I was young and I had the wrong influences and I was I was concerned with income, I had material goals. I wanted a fast car. I wanted a nice home. I wanted money in my pocket. I wanted things, guys, that I couldn't see attainable unless I followed the instructions of those who were incorrect. I had material goals. A lot of us have material goals and they get us started, but they don't keep us engaged. And a lot of us say, okay, well, we have small goals. I said we're playing small. So we say, I want enough money to be able to do what I want to do, when I want to do it, where I want to do it, with who I want to do it with. And somehow we settle for 50 years locked in a cage and 50 weeks locked in a cage and 2 weeks vacation. Some of what I say might be harsh. It might sound harsh sometimes, but you got to remember, I've been in an organizational setting and I saw phenomenal people do the same thing day in, day out, living small fractions of the life that they could have possibly lived, sitting around the water cooler, speaking about the same things, going to the same vacations with the same people over and over again. And it made me tired of hearing people talk about staycations when they had so much capacity. And there was no difference. There's no difference between us and the millionaires and the billionaires except the scope of our vision. Say it one more time. There's nothing separating us. If you've got all of your faculties, if you've got 5 fingers on each hand, and even if you don't, there's nothing separating us from 6 figures, 7 figures, or 8 figures, or even 9, except the scope of our vision. You got to have a bigger vision. So watch this. When I had material visions, I did material things that were limited. When I changed my whys into whos, that's when everything changed for me. When I changed my why into a who, it became real for me. When I met my wife, it was deeper than a car. When my children were born, it was deeper than a watch, deeper than a belt, deeper than Prada, deeper than Louis, deeper than Dolce & Gabbana. It became named people with names who woke up in my home, and they became the reason of the impetus. And all of a sudden I had bigger visions and bigger dreams, and I had to do things. I had to pick up the books that I had put down before. I had to pick up the education. I had to go back and re-enroll and actually finish things that I had started before. How many things have you started that you have not finished? We're in the 4th quarter of a business year. This is the beginning. This month marks the beginning of the 4th quarter. In the beginning of the year, you laid down laws. You said, this is what I'm going to do. You made commitments. You made pledges. You said you were going to do something. You made resolutions. But what happened to them? What happened to those goals? What happened to those resolutions? What happened to those things that you were going to do? Did you attain them? Did you commit to them really? Are you still following through on them? What became of those goals is what I'm saying to you. Stop thinking about the what, stop thinking about the how, and start concerning yourself with the who, and all things will become apparent. That's what you need to do. Stop thinking small, start playing tall. Get out of the what, get out of the how, get out of the material, and get into the personal, get into the relational, and get into the who, and everything will change. Let's grow. We'll be right back. I said Sean Ra'is. I'm proud. That's Sean Rice. Leadership is not the brand they made for us.
Listen, he brought fire, heat. He didn't hold back.
20 years down the line, what I could sell, why not serve first? Service over salary. Branding like a leader closes the gap for people who want branding. Speaking like a leader closes the gap for people who are nervous about speaking. If Steve Jobs would have speculated, we wouldn't have Apple.
He changed lives. He helped people open up their business and start their business.
We are the brand. Some people say, Sean, should I quit my job? Mentally, yes.
As a speaker too, to be able to learn from him and watch him and game respects game. And I want to have that much game someday.
The right client, pay $500,000 for what you do. You have to be bold in your beliefs.
He has been an amazing asset to this event and a pleasure to work with. Very captivating, collaborative, worked very well with the audience.
I want to help you. Put a 0 behind your number, right?
The session was great. How he is online, virtually, he is even more phenomenal in person.
Be the face of change that you want to see. Stop asking questions and start giving demands.
The entire team has just been absolutely incredible. They are a joy to work with. They go above and beyond.
Give yourself a round of applause. Yes, yes, yes. I don't talk theory. I don't talk hyperbole. I don't talk opinion. Nothing I talk is anything but evidence-based.
During the G-Circle retreat in Atlanta, I had the pleasure and the honor of listening to Mr. Sean Rice. He will not only impact your organization, but he will elevate your team to another level.
When you change you, when you put you into the equation, the whole system is different. I guarantee you, you got the right thing. You are the right person. If you can present yourself in the best way possible, there's no negotiation.
His energy is infectious, and I have so many takeaways from the presentation that I can't wait to get started and implement them today to see the result.
Okay, guys, watch this. So this is going to be the last segment, but I want to think about what was just stated by the phenomenal young lady who just gave that testimonial right before that last commercial video went off. She said, I can't wait to get into action. She said, I can't wait to get started so I can see the results. A lot of us have a lot of plans. We stay here. Right? And for those of you on LinkedIn Voice, I'm pointing at my head again. We stay in here. We stay in our heads. We have all of these plans, these grand designs. But when it doesn't come out the right way, we have very sporadic and very small amounts of action and activity. Right? So while you're listening to this now, you're probably like, yeah, I can do it. I've been going down the wrong way, and I can make a U-turn, and I can shift and pivot, and I can do things differently. And I can add a 0 to me. But it's a little bit more than just writing a 0, right? It's a little bit more than that. So people say all the time, Sean, I can just increase my prices. I'll just increase my prices. Then I say, you can't just increase your prices without increasing the value. You cannot just add a 0 to your prices if you don't add a 0 to you. Add a 0 to your character. Add a 0 to your integrity, add a 0 to your value, add a 0 to your leadership, add a 0 to your confidence. You have to become more so you can do more, so you can have more. You have to deposit more value into the marketplace so you can extract more of what you're looking for. Now, I understand when numbers are low, that's the first thing you think of. But I'm reminded of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where the base needs are at the very bottom. Think about that. What are you focused on? What is your outcome? Is your outcome legacy, or is it just a living? What are you striving for? What are you working for? What are you working towards? What is the goal? Is the goal something small, or is the goal something huge? See, there's certain people that like to get a check. And I know what it's like to want to get a check, but there's some people that want to get a check, and then there's other people that want to cut checks. And it wasn't until I went from wanting a check to wanting to cut checks that things began to change for me, because I had to look at myself and say, Sean, are you really creating the kind of value that's going to give you the ability to cut checks, to pay people? There's a difference between getting paid and paying people. There's a difference between leading yourself and leading others. There's a difference between getting a job and owning a business. Oh man, there's such a difference between being an employee and being an employer. It's a different level of leadership, and it comes with pressure. It comes with stress. A lot of people are saying, I don't want the stress. I don't want the problems, Sean. I don't want the problems. You better. If you want a phenomenal life, listen, the more phenomenal your life becomes, the more pressure is involved. Let's look at it on a physical level. One of my first occupations in my own business was personal fitness trainer and nutritional specialist. So somebody would come to me and say, Sean, I want washboard abs. I want 6-pack. I want an 8-pack. And I would say, okay, you're going to have to restrict your caloric intake. They say, what does that mean? I say, you're going to have to restrict carbs. So the cakes, the sodas, the rice, done it. Potatoes, done it. Fried food, done it. It's over. You need high protein, bland, flavorless. You don't need to use a whole bunch of salt. You need to make it bland. And you need leafy greens. So you need more protein. And they're like, hold on, Sean, but I want to have fun. I want to be comfortable. And I say, well, you can't be comfortable and be phenomenal at the same time. Do you understand? You can't be comfortable and be phenomenal at the same time. You can't add a 0 to you and have it the way you want it. It's not like, this is not Burger King. Success comes with restrictions. Success comes with discipline. Success comes with requirements that you have to make as an adult, as a person who really says, I want the success. You can't have success and no pressure. You can't have phenomenal life and no stress. No, it comes, it's a package deal. It's a package deal. As they say, it's a happy meal. It comes together. It's in the box. So it's being unhappy that allows you to become happy, really powerful, really meaningful. But you got to make sacrifices. You got to be okay. So people say, Sean, you came out of nowhere and you just started crushing it. And you people who know my story, they say you went from crickets to digits in the midst of the pandemic, and you did 450K in less than 90 days. And I'm like, whoa. What you had not seen though, sir, ma'am, what you didn't see was the 10 years in college prior to. What you didn't see was the 20 years of suffrage before that. What you didn't see was the nights that I didn't sleep. What you didn't see was the nights that I came home at 11:30 and woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning to go to school before I went to an internship that I didn't get paid for 7 months. Until I finally got an intern check. That was $500 every 2 weeks. Like, you don't know the story behind the story. All you see and all you perceive is what you perceive to be the glory, but you don't know half of the story. You understand? So I guarantee you that you'll be praised in the light for what you do in the dark, and what you do in the dark is going to be so intense that people quit. That's why people quit. And that's why people settle for $40,000 a year. And if you're at $40,000 a year, I'm not knocking you. I'm saying that you can add a 0 to it and turn your $40,000 a year into $400,000 a year. And then you can turn your $40,000 a year into a $40,000 month. See, one thing that we like to do is help people make their yearly income monthly, their monthly income weekly, and their weekly income daily. And all you have to do is believe it in order to receive it. But it doesn't make a difference if you believe it without conceiving it. You have to go through the process to give birth to the reality. See, what I'm talking to you about right now is a possibility, but it's not a dream state. It's a vision state. So, okay, you have the vision, but then there's the mission that creates the condition. You got to go through the work. Everybody wants to fast forward the process and go from conceptualization to putting their hands on it, conceptualization to manifestation. But you can't go from conceptualization to manifestation without the process, right? And that's where the work is involved. And that's where you got to write the book. You can't think the book. You've got to write the screenplay. You can't have an idea for the screenplay and then have the motion picture production. See, that's what this is the part that people miss. People miss the part from inception and conception to giving birth and delivery and the child walking around. There's 9 months of gestation that takes place. There's ups and downs. There's mood swings. Do you understand? There's a lot that goes into creating a reality and giving birth to a dream. And that part isn't fun for people who have not conditioned themselves to enjoy discipline. And it's how will I say it? It's a bitter taste. It's a bitter taste. It doesn't go down with sugar. It's like castor oil, plain, raw, uncut. And it's consistent. So just imagine, would you be willing to go through 12 winters to live the rest of your life in summer? That's a real question. Would you be willing to go through 12 winters back to back? There's 4 seasons in a year, so we're talking about 3 years of winter, hardship, no love, no sun, like Antarctica, Alaska, to enjoy the rest of your life in Honolulu, Hawaii, or whatever your picture of phenomenal looks like. It's possible and you can have it. Whatever your flavor is, you can have it. The question is, are you willing to make the deposits that are required to be able to make the withdrawal later? Most people want to deposit $500 and then tomorrow withdraw $5,000, and it's ludicrous. It's not reality. It's like Santa Claus. And I'm sorry for anyone young who's listening, but it just doesn't exist. You have to put the work in. You have to make the deposits. You got to be willing to put forth the sacrifice. You got to build the pipeline. You got to build the business. You got to build the team. You got to build the vision. You got to build yourself. It's through execution that you gain and you build your confidence. People are like, well, Sean, you're so confident. There was a time when I wasn't. There was a time when I wasn't confident at all. And that's why I had to go back to school, because when I first tried it, I didn't have the confidence that I could finish. I'm just like you. I've started books and never finished them. I started going live and stopped. I started a community and didn't build it. I started workout programs and didn't commit. I've started diets and stopped. I've done all of the things. But this was the deciding factor. And I'm so glad that you guys have been with me, for this long. We got Gregory Charles, phenomenal morning. Leon Grove, phenomenal morning. Mary, I see you. Sammy, I appreciate you, right? On LinkedIn Live and hearing the voice, I want you to know that it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. It was so much easier to do the easy thing and do the wrong thing and get immediate results. A lot of us want microwave success, but success that is substantial doesn't take place in a microwave. I guarantee you. I have a phenomenal client, and you guys know him, Bobby Jackson. Bobby Jackson has done 400% revenue increase year after year after year for 3 years in a row. He came on yesterday and was talking about it. But when I asked him inside of our community to tell the other clients, how did it feel? He said it felt like death. He said it felt like death. Now, he's building a phenomenal business. He's done more than 1,200% revenue growth from day one, 400% year after year after year. Matter of fact, I think yesterday he crossed, so he got two months and a half to accelerate past. So he probably do 425% growth this year. But my point is this, he said it felt like death while he's doing it. So yes, the revenue's growing, but he can't enjoy it, because the moment he takes his foot off the gas, the car stops. And I tell people all the time, the moment you stop, the moment you think you can relax, you're on a slippery slope. You close a deal, you got $20,000 in the bank. The next day, taxes are taken. Things are taken immediately. So the moment you become, people say, is $1 million enough? And I say no, because as soon as you make $1 million, you got to factor in the IRS. Depending on your dependency status, they're taking 400 of it. And the moment you spend $1, you're no longer a millionaire. People say, is a master's degree enough? And I say, no, not at all. Because I've lived long enough to see a time when, you got to understand, I remember when a bachelor's degree was like a master's degree. Bachelor's degree was almost like a PhD. Now a PhD is like a bachelor's degree. I've seen doctors, I've worked with doctors that are unemployed. I've worked with doctors at $40,000 a year, $60,000 a year, and happy to be there. Like, oh my God, this was a phenomenal gig. But I've also worked with people and helped them change their mindsets, and they've gone from a GED to 6 and 7 figures. Pick your hard. Pick your hard. It's hard to be successful. You got to do some hard things. You got to make some sacrifices. But I guarantee you it's hard to try to live on $40,000 a year. It's hard to tell your children no. It's hard to tell your children no. We can't do that this year. We probably won't be able to do that in our lifetime. And try to explain to them or rationalize why some people get to enjoy some things while other people don't. And have them look at you like, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with us? Why can't we? I'm about to end this morning. I'll be here tomorrow morning as well, 7:00 a.m. Eastern Standard. Breakfast with the Brand. My name is Sean Rais, and I'm committed to service, and I'm committed to over-delivery, and I'm committed to leadership, and I'm committed to diversifying the face of leadership, because no children should look at their parents and say, why not us? And no father should have to sit with that on his chest, and no mother should have to rationalize that and try to explain it, because there is no explanation. Now, I know history, and I know what's taking place in different places. I know what's taking place right now. But the reality is people get where they are because they want it bad enough. And people get what they are because they're willing to take sacrifices. And if you're not willing to take sacrifices, then you're going to have that hard job of explaining to your children why not them and why somebody else. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Let's grow. It's very important that you know yourself to the highest degree possible, because it's through knowing ourselves that we're able to know other people. You are the most important person in the room, and the better that you know yourself, the better that you're able to communicate to others. So you're not only playing the game knowing who you are, but you're also playing the game knowing who everyone else is, so that you're not playing blind.
He's extremely engaging with people. He has a fantastic smile, and he's just a very high energy person.
This is called leadership development. So we have to be independently knowledgeable and considerate to know who we are, so we can more effectively know who other people are. As the leader, it's your responsibility to allocate resources in the right places. If you don't know how to communicate effectively, you're losing the battle.